I've said this before over the years, but it's worth repeating once more today. I created these sites over 21 years ago. I run them every single day. I'm a capitalist, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's never been about sales. I've never been a slave to making money. And I encourage the handicappers to have that same philosophy as well. So today, the 2 NFL playoff games, yeah, they're the ones that are going to generate the most revenue here at the site, but they're not my best bets. And they're not the games that I feel that you can make the most money on. So that's why today here on the video report, where I'm on a 34-16 run with my complimentary plays, I'm going to break down both games and I'm going to give you my free selections. Because I feel today the best bet on the board is actually in college basketball, where I'm going to have the 4th ever 30-dime release in college hoops of my career. It's my blowout of the year. It goes on the nighttime card. And once again, as I've always done over the years, not just for myself, but for all the hot handicappers at the site, when they have the biggest plays, I always put the biggest discounts on those plays. It's going to be the half price play of the day by using coupon code RARE, R-A-R-E. Now you know I just hit 2 straight raise the bar 20-dime releases in college hoops, 29-16 run with them, including a 3-0 mark this season after cashing in with Illinois last night and Arizona on Thursday, and this play is stronger. But again, I'm not a slave to sales. The best bet on today's card, in my opinion, is in college basketball, and that's the way I'm going, and that's the way I'm rolling. So, with that being said, let's get to the NFL selections. We'll take a look at the nighttime game first. Now, the Patriots are the Bills are a 4.5 point favorite at home. You know what happened in the regular season. The first game, the Win Bowl, shall we say, Bill Belichick, a very strong tactician, as we all know, ran the ball at will, and the Patriots won it. But in the rematch at New England, it was all Buffalo, 33-21. And really, it was all Josh Allen. 30 for 47, 314 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, 12 carries, and a team best 64 yards on the ground. And it was also a game in which Mac Jones struggled, 14 for 32, 145 yards, 2 interceptions in that contest. Now, Damian Harris still had a good game running the ball for New England with 103 yards on 18 carries, 5.7 yards a game per tote. But again, it was all a one-sided affair as Buffalo jumped out to the 17-7 lead at halftime and never looked back. Now we know it's going to be frigid today in Buffalo, but the winds are not going to be nearly as strong, so it's not going to affect the teams in terms of passing. The NFL is all about passing. It's been that way for the past 10 years. You know, when I handicap college football, it's about whether a team can run the ball. In the NFL, I don't even worry about that because you got to be able to pass the ball. Sure, it's nice to have 2nd and 5 instead of 2nd and 3, but the reality is the NFL is a passing league. And Josh Allen playing at home tonight, if he has the same conditions, good conditions, meaning the winds aren't blowing at 75 miles per hour, and of course I'm embellishing it, I like Josh Allen playing at home with that pass offense against New England's secondary. Just like he took care of business in Foxborough, I like Josh Allen to succeed at home against a Patriots secondary that I think can be attacked once more. And really, this is Josh Allen's game to win or lose, with his legs, with his arm. And I'm very concerned with the way the Patriots, I feel, peaked a little too soon. I mean, look what happened to them down the stretch. How did they lose at Miami last week? I mean, the game still had some significance for them, but it was pretty much a no-show in a 33-24 loss. They lost 3 of their final 4 games, lost by 10 at Indianapolis, lost that game to Buffalo. The only win was the 40-point rout of Jacksonville. Big deal. They beat the Jaguars. So I'm going with Buffalo here. I'm laying the 4.5 points. Naturally, I'm buying down the half point on Buffalo. Anytime that line is crossing 3, 4, 6, 7, I'm buying down the half point, in this case, on the favorite. I'm going with the Bills. And in terms of the frigid temperatures, listen, Josh Allen played his college ball in Wyoming. Have you been to Casper or Laramie in the middle of winter? Oh, I haven't either, to be honest with you. I've been to 38 states, but I'm never going to Wyoming before I die, which hopefully I can put off for a couple of years with leukemia. But still, On my deathbed, I'm not going to be sitting there going, damn, I wish I had gotten to Wyoming or Montana or Idaho. Let's see, can I beat up any more states? No. Yeah, I've been to Mississippi, so that doesn't count. Anyway, I like Buffalo. The early game, I'm going to go with Cincinnati. Minus the 5.5 points. And let's face it, when you're looking at 5.5 points, you're basically saying, hey, I got to win by a touchdown. It's one of those weird numbers in betting when it comes to the NFL. What's 5.5 points? Sometimes a team wins by 6, but basically you're saying, hey, you got to win by a touchdown, and I'm okay with that. You go back to the first game when these two met back on November 21st in Las Vegas. The Bengals were coming off a bye. They had lost their 2 previous games, and they pretty much dominated from start to finish in that contest, a 31-13 win. It wasn't so much Joe Burrow. He was efficient in that game, but it was all Joe Mixon in terms of how they were able to control the clock and control the line of scrimmage. The defense held the Raiders to just 278 yards. Derek Carr, okay, 19 for 27, 215 yards. Darren Waller, the tight end, had his biggest game of the season with 7 catches, 116 yards. And that's notable because he just returned to action in that Monday night or that last Sunday night game against the Chargers after missing, I think, 4 straight games. But Burrow, as I said, 20 for 29, 148 yards and 1 touchdown. Joe Mixon, though, 123 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Time of possession, though. Bengals controlled the clock, had the ball for a little over 37 minutes. They were 8 for 16 on third downs. The Raiders, playing at home, 1 for 7. Raiders also shot themselves in the foot in that game. I think they had 7 penalties for 77 yards. Cincinnati only had 1 flag against them. You have Joe Burrow, who is just simply red hot. In December, 71% completions, 8 touchdowns, 1,300 yards. And the one game he played in January was the comeback win against Kansas City, where he was 30 for 39, 446 yards and 4 touchdowns. I like the fact that the Bengals had the basically week off since they didn't do anything and rested most of their starters against the Browns, which they lost, while the Raiders had to play for their lives each of the past 4 weeks and went out against the Chargers in their final game as well to make the playoffs. Now, sometimes I do worry when a team takes that extra week off in the regular season finale and then enters the playoffs, because sometimes momentum is lost. But this year, because you played an extra game, I think that week off for veterans is even more important. So I'm not worried that they had a bye week at the end of the year. And frankly, if you go back to the win when they had it in Las Vegas, they finished on a 5-2 roll. Bengals sometimes were perplexing at home this year. I mean, how do you lose and get crushed by the Browns at home? Damned if I know. But still, I'm going to go with them. Do I worry sometimes with their offensive line that they gave up 51 sacks this year? Yeah. They gave up 3 in the first game. If the Raiders pressure Burrow, it could be problematic, but I still would rather go with Cincinnati. If I was releasing these plays on the website, I would make the Bills a 15-dime release. Now, that is my normal top-rated play. I would make the Bengals a 10-dime release. So there. These would be rated plays if they were solo games being played on a Monday or Thursday night. But again, basketball, college hoops, that's where my best bet is. I wish you well, guys, and we'll talk again soon. Good luck, everybody.